everyone, my name is Savannah Shane, and my topic that I'll be presenting today is how does the simple life place pre-modern pressure on women? I'd like to start off by saying in the true simple life fashion, we are not using technology. We have good old-fashioned poster boards, some natural lighting from a candle I've made myself, and the natural lighting of outside. Thank you. The background of my topic. I'd like to start off with reading a few quotes to get your mind in the right area. Women belong in the house. Women must be protected by men. Women must remain modest. Women must be clean. These statements are only the tip of the iceberg as to why women supposedly cannot excel in today's world. I'd like to think of the women movement and women issues as a thick layer of ice. While you are able to look through it and see the other side, it is extremely cloudy and it is extremely difficult to break through that ice. I like to think of that as the women movement, the womanly issues. This continues into adulthood, forcing women to marry young and have children. There was and still is the idea of arranged marriages, which are meant to provide for them. The idea of an arranged marriage, while it's not nearly as common as it once was, it is the idea that it is put in place to provide for the woman because she's not seen as being able to provide for herself because of her reliance on having a man to care for her. Women have the label of being incapable of higher functions or capacities in society, and women still face that connotation today. Modern feminism. The modern feminist movement has a concentration on political campaigns with a focus on reproductive rights, domestic violence, maternity leave, equal pay, and sexual harassment, which are basic issues and rights that women should have, but still do not. There's also the aspect of gender roles in the household, with the idea of the woman having, caring, and raising children as well as staying in the home. This lifestyle also comes with a weak and fragile connotation around women. And the men are seen as the one that provides, protects, and is strong in the family. The progression of women's rights has come a long way from where they are. However, we are nowhere close to where we should be. Modern feminism, while it is not seen as such a large topic in today's society, it is still a very large issue. And what I mean by that is we are no longer having large feminist movements, such as the movement to gain the right to vote, which is also a basic human right that we have to celebrate and acknowledge as a progression when we should have started there. I like to look at Amish communities as a modern example of the simple life. In Amish communities, the woman is supposed to be married, and once she is, any type of labor she attained when single should cease. Once married, they are expected to stay in the home and have children. Amish women are expected to carry out traditional marital duties, which is why I am using them as my modern example of the simple life. I like to look at Amish communities as a modern example of the simple life. In Amish communities, the woman is supposed to be married, and once she is, any type of labor she attained when single should cease. Once married, they are expected to stay in the home and have children. Amish women are expected to carry out traditional marital duties, which is why I am using them as my modern example of the simple life. The fear of how the simple life, and back. While the definition of the simple life does not have gender roles for the man and the woman, it does have the connotation of one. I like to think of the simple life and women's roles and equality as the snowball effect. With at the top of the hill, you have the simple life, you have the simple life, and at the bottom of the hill, you have women digressing in society and going back to having less rights than men, which we already do, and just the digression of women. And while I like to think of this as a snowball, because while it comes down the hill, it may seem small and it may start slow. However, it will build and grow as it comes down the hill. Meaning that, yes, again, the simple life does not mean that women will lose their rights. However, it does have that connotation, which can be seen in Amish communities, which is a very good example of the simple life because of their lack of technology, their lack of basic necessities such as indoor plumbing. They have reverted back to the simple life, and they still live this way in modern times. And finally, for my Amish community's example, why would we move towards a lifestyle such as the simple life? And back. Why would we move towards a way of living such as the simple life that doesn't defend women? It puts women in a box and gives them specific roles to follow. We should be moving towards the idea of defending women and progression. I like to think of the simple life as a closed-minded view of the world and modern society as a progressive one. And we have to do this because I don't love those things. And we're back. Not the answer. The simple life is not the answer for what we should be moving towards in society. Once again, women progression, nowhere close to being where it should be. So why would we digress? Feminism is seen as a dangerous, negative word because it has this aggressive political charge to it. However, this is false. Feminism is seen as a liberal left movement, which it should not be, considering the fact that this is an issue that affects more than half of the world, because more than half of the world's population is women. This is everyone's issue. This is your mother's issue, your sister's issue, maybe your issue. This is an issue that affects everyone. My answer for this is choice feminism. Choice feminism is the idea of not placing judgment on women because of their choices or political views. This is a very open-minded, inclusive idea. This idea is the idea of Ferguson, which is in my sources. And this is the idea that includes everyone. It brings society together. We should be bringing society together instead of putting society and people in society in boxes, in places, in certain roles. In conclusion, the slowing talk of feminism. This is because, once again, we are not seen as having a large issue that is currently impacting us, such as the right to vote. However, we are facing a very important time right now because of still not having the basic right of equal pay, the abortion issue, just the simple rights that women should have. And once again, Amish communities I see as a perfect example of the simple life in a modern society, and using them as the example for how their women are treated and live in their roles. The simple life is a lack of rights and strict guidelines for women to follow. It once again places women in a box. And finally, the simple life is not a feasible lifestyle, and it never will be. The answer is choice feminism, a woman-focused society, one that defends women and gives them the basic rights that they deserve. Thank you. Any questions? That's right. It's just me.